In the vast world of the indie game scene, few games have managed to establish themselves as pillars, and fewer in those games are those that feel eternal, not in a literal sense of infinitely generated terrains, or because of the repeating natures of their runs, but because they never stop being relevant. Games that only have to capture the minds of their players once for it to never leave their minds again. Minecraft, Undertale, Stardew Valley, games that only seem to come and go from the mind of the general culture, but never truly leave it. Terraria is one of these games. Released in 2011 with only a small percentage of the features it offers today, it was only regarded as a side-scrolling Minecraft clone. Another pixie indie coming in an era of an overcrowded market, resulting from the success of similar games. But instead, it became a pillar, and one of those foundational stones of indie gaming itself. A game that even 15 years after being released refuses to be finished. When we mention the early golden days of indie gaming, many names come up. Super Meat Boy, Limbo, Minecraft, all masterpieces in their own right, but then at the end, without ego and quietly looked over in these lists, is Terraria. While most of the games of this era were designed to be self-contained, Terraria was designed to be ever-evolving. To be a game that you could return to every few months or years and find out that you had to relearn most of what you knew, an ever-evolving masterpiece. At the time, Relogic did not create the masterpiece, they planted a seed, and have kept watering this seed month by month and year by year. They grew the masterpiece through the effort that was put into the game through the years. You can never truly leave Terraria because the game itself refuses to ever end. Because even though we have seen many final updates in its years of development, it's a product that refuses to leave the mind of its creators as well. Endless ideas keep flowing constantly in an infinite way of roads to expand the initial concept. Not only is the world you find yourself in regenerated every time you play, so are the items you use, the way the events unfold, and even the luck you get. It's all very unpredictable. So, from just the way the game is structured, you can explore the world and its progression in any way you like, any amount of times. But what highlights the infinite depth of Terraria is the use of choice. From the moment you start playing, you choose which way you want to play. You can read the wiki for hours and understand every aspect and secret of the game. You can complete every boss and beat every challenge. You can go in completely blind and stumble your way through, finding your own optimal strategy. You can only play for grinding and an optimal boss fight setup. And every single one of those choices is the right one. And every single one of these choices splits into another 10 choices you could have made. From every class you can play to every item combination or weapon in that class. You can build farms to automate the process or beat invasions and events through brute force. You can build a starter house and never upgrade it, or you can build an ever expanding house. I mean, the options are truly endless. Even 10 years after first starting to play it, I can find a way to play a game and enjoy it like I haven't ever before. But still, even in games that feel endless, why has Terraria endured so long? Why, even after a decade and a half, is its community as active as it was 10 or 15 years ago? While part of it is clearly the game and its content, the other part is a little bit harder to explain. It, in a very subtle way, gives you this world filled with content and ideas and invites you to experiment in it, to fail, to retry. It is a game that has the unique ability to feel both as free as a sandbox, but also as linear as a boss rush, with focus in combat and exploration. It is a game that doesn't tell you what to do or how to do it, but also doesn't drop you in clueless. It just constantly tells you to think about the what ifs. What if you played differently, chose a different class, tried different items? But as well, no game survives without a community. And luckily, in Terraria's case, it's not dedicated only. It's creative and inspiring. The modding scene for Terraria isn't just something that most players miss on their time with the game. It is basically a feature of the game. It's not a parasite, but part of the ecosystem. There is no game that I have played whose creators and fans are this dedicated to expanding it. So much so that it is the only game I've seen whose mod expansion is on Steam, and the launcher of the mods is on Steam. There is everything to offer, and I really understate everything. You can find full content expansions, like Calamity or Thorium, fan-made expansions which completely reimagine the game, quality of life. I mean, you can enter the launcher one day and you will have 100 more mods to play with. Every update that the developer has released has been accompanied with so many mods that in my lifetime I think I would never be able to complete. It is one of those rare cases in which both the developers and the talented modders have never stopped adding content to the game, refining it with every update and quality of life mod. So when people talk about the indie greats, Terraria is usually not a contender. It isn't as compelling or elegant narratively as Outer Wilds, and doesn't have the emotional weight that Celeste's have, but it doesn't have to be, because in terms of pure longevity and community and sheer replayability, Terraria is one of the only indies of its kind. It didn't start endlessly replayable, but it became it. Through sheer dedication from the community, to the players, to the modders, to the developers, it became a game that always makes me ask, let's see what this next playthrough holds, because it always feels new.